Yes. What's up? Final predictions now for the 5v5. Willy Hutchinson from Queensberry against Craig Richards representing Matchroom. And like I said, we don't really care about this stupid 5v5. Well, some do, but it's got a point system. It's all a bit gear. It's all a bit fake and gear. But whatever, we got good fights, as I've said many times. Willy Hutchinson, this is all British. Willy Hutchinson. From Scotland. These Craig Richards from the UK, from England. Sorry. So it's England v Scotland. Scottish people are not that keen on English on the whole. I think they're brought up to hate the English for whatever reason. It's probably just another divide and conquer tactic. But this is a boxing channel. We're not going to talk about politics right now. And supposedly, Willy Hutchinson is the bad guy now because he allegedly uttered a racist comment towards Craig Richards. We don't know what it is. It hasn't come out. But allegedly he did so on a BKM interview. I mean, I don't care. I mean, this is, people go, oh no, he's a racist. He had to be evil. Why? Because you said one thing. Anyone knows that racism is a fake word. It's almost impossible to define properly. It's basically just a made-up word coined by socialists who wanted to encourage A, division amongst people, and B, to encourage, immigration. So you cannot question certain things because you're evil racist. Anyway, this is a boxing channel, so we're only interested in what happens in the ring, right? And I ain't talking about Sam Stroller's ring. So this Willy Hutchinson, he was touted as a good prospect. He was a good, decent amateur. He got 17 wins, 13 big wins by way of knockout, and one loss, a stoppage loss. He's beaten in his early career a bunch of, journeyman types, beat them quite impressively, but none of them were decent. It was a real step up to fight a guy called Lennox Clark. Yeah, there's more than one Lennox in the world. It's not all about Lennox Lewis, it's Lennox Clark. Now, if we look at Lennox Clark stopped Willy Hutchinson in a big upset in 5 rounds. Now, this Lennox Clark guy is not a big puncher. He's not a big puncher. So it was a bit of a surprise. He's solid, but he's not a big puncher. He's lost to Lerone Richards, who's decent prospect. That's on a split decision, and then they put him in against Hutchinson, which is probably a step too quick, considering Hutchinson's been banging out bums. And after a good start, he kind of faded, and he got caught. He got stopped. And people are starting to question Hutchinson's chin. And that Lennox Clark has not fought since 2022. He got knocked out by Mark Heffron. So, he had his level. His level is kind of, British title level. Craig Richards would be, again, Craig Richards has mainly fought and mainly beaten British title level guys. And we'll get on to him, as I say, in a minute. But, Hutchinson, I like his style. I kind of like him, He's loose-limbed. I'm not going to say Ingle style, but, that kind of thing. But he's aggressive with it. He can punch. I have the feeling that he probably, mentally, he wasn't right for Clark because he underperformed. He's too used to banging out bombs. Since then, he's stopped 4 people. No one spectacular. Martin Holborn in his last fight killed in 2. But he's got no real names on his record, but he's a prospect. I like the way he boxes. It's good to have some Scottish prospects in the mix, especially Scottish fighters. There's not been very many. Well, most of the best Scottish fighters are lighter weight guys. Ken Buchanan, Josh Taylor. Was Benny Lynch Scottish or Jimmy Wild? I can't remember. One of them guys. Scott Harrison. Tend to be the lower weight guys. Paul Weir. Was a world champion, I think, in 2 weights. But, Hutchinson has been posted as the bad guy. And apparently he's got an attitude problem, and he made racist comments. But anyway, Richards is, he's got 18-3-1 record with 11 KOs. So he's more of a boxer than a puncher, And the British level, most of his big wins are British level. Yeah, he's beaten Andre Sterling, Jake Bull. Okay. But he lost to Frank Buglioni. So that was a bit weird. That's a bit of an odd result there on points. He lost to Joshua Buatsi on points. So he can lose at the British level, at the top level. His biggest fight... Oh, so he stopped Boris Crichton, who's a solid British level guy, but not amazing. His biggest fight is Dimitri Bivol. Yeah, and like I said, that was the fight, the walk-in fight. Bivol vs Richards to Camp Bellenhan's second fight, which is tragic. But fighting Bivol, he gave a decent account of himself. A couple of the scorecards were close, which is like, they had him winning, Bivol winning by 1 round or 2 rounds. The third one was 110, 118. I mean, I think Richards gave a good account of himself, but I think Bivol won fairly clearly on points. Craig Richards, yeah, he's a weird guy. He looks like a predator. He's got a big forehead, which slopes backwards. But it's not a modelling competition, because otherwise Hutchinson would be the winner. It's boxing, and this is yet another good fight. Now, looking around social media and forums, people mostly go, Richards will outbox him, maybe even stop Hutchinson late. Yeah, it's possible. You by the form, but you'd say that, but Craig Spider Richards is 34. He has lost at British level, albeit on points. I've seen no shakiness of his chin. And Hutchinson is an aggressive fighter, so that might play into Richards' hands. You could see a situation where Hutchinson wins the early rounds with his aggression, but Richards is getting the distance, getting a feel for him, and some people say he will stop Hutchinson possibly later. I'm not sure. I think this is a decent fight. It's an even fight, pretty much. The bookies have Richards a slight favourite, which is correct in my opinion, because he's got the better form at the top level. But Hutchinson looks up for it. Yeah, this is a big fight in his career. He's a younger man. He's 25. Willy Braveheart Hutchinson. It's a bit of a cliche that, but he's Scottish. So he's the Braveheart, and I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm leaning towards Richards. You would think, that he will, after possibly, I think Hutchinson will have a fast start, but Richards will avoid getting chinned. And I think his chin is solid, and he'll start to land more as the fight goes on. I wouldn't be surprised to see a points decision for Richards, I think, mainly. But, it's another fight where, you can't guarantee anything. If I had to bet my life on it, which I say is always the yardstick to what you really believe will happen, I would bet on Richards. Probably on points, possibly late stoppage. But I think Hutchinson, if he's going to go forward, now's that fight. And he knows it. I can see it in his eyes. He knows this is the big one. He would have trained properly. It's not like the Lennox fight, the Lennox-Clark fight, which probably came a bit early. It was probably a bit ambitious, but still. I don't know. This is essentially a British level fight, but it's a 12-rounder. It's not for any title. It's not for any title, but it's another great fight on the bill. I think Hutchinson has a chance because of Richards' age as well, and Richards kind of found his level, if you like. Hutchinson will have more ambition. Yeah, he's almost 10 years younger. Yeah, and not selfishly, but I prefer Hutchinson to win because he's got a more exciting future. I think Richards has gone as far as he's going to go, and he's never been the most exciting fighter. I prefer an exciting banger, with skills. And Hutchinson is an exciting banger with skills. It's whether or not he's got enough skills, enough in a gas tank to beat Richards. And I lean towards Richards losing a few of the early rounds. He might take a couple of big shots, but eventually taking over. And I think probably points. Probably Craig Richards on points. Possibly late stoppage. Might stop an exhausted Willy Hutchinson. I might stop the Braveheart late. But, that's my prediction. But we're in for a treat anyway. It's a shame Dimitri Bivol is not fighting Beterbiev, because that would be, that would be kind of almost the card of the year. And we're getting so many good cards now with Turki Ala Sheikh in charge of business. So, I'm going to go for Richards on points. But as I said, I hope to see an conclusive, exciting fight. And I'd like to see Willy win. I'd like to see Willy. I think it's good for Scottish boxing. I think it's good because he's younger and fresher. It's nice to have a good prospect come through. And maybe Richards' time is now over. Peace in the Middle East, guys.